first of all, just for the sake of answering a few questions, there's no new updates on Legend of Zelda's sequel, but there's rumors next month at the Game Awards we're actually getting a release date for the latest Zelda. Now this is easily one of the most anticipated Switch games to date, and for a very long time too. I know that is why we're gonna have to wait just a little while longer, so let's just move on for now.
The city is falling.
Each time we strike down an enemy, we absorb their strength.
Come to think of, February is right now the biggest month in the gaming scene for 2022, which Dying Light 2 Stay Human also has a release date in that month. Stay Human Cloud version, by the way, for the Nintendo Switch, now releases February 4th with a ton of hype. Crossplay enabled, online multiplayer, you name it. Just in case you're new to, it is an open world, parkour-based survival horror game. Check this out.
You're doing great so far.
I have to make a difference.
Let's check and see.
They say that great change is a series of small gestures. How about this series?
You're definitely not new to this one, but just to be friendly to new folks visiting today, during a very recent Nintendo Direct showcase, we finally got some gameplay on Bayonetta 3. Nintendo, Sega, and Platinum Games announced a release window of 2022 only for Bayonetta, and also promised to share more information about the game very soon at the Game Awards. Check this out, in case you've missed out on. I'm actually surprised that this is news to me, but it was only a few hours ago when I first learned about another Musou franchise from Koei Tecmo going by Touken Ranbu Warriors. What's even more strange is that this is a browser-based card game. This is the announcement trailer they came up with, and also a release date of May 24th, possibly for Western market with English translation at a later date. Check this out.
忍び寄る時間粗行軍貴様への仕置きだ押し切る負けるわけにはいかないよな切る密命の戦国刺激へ少し本気を出すこれでどうだ
Well, it turns out that the job is not going to be so simple after all.
Little Devil Inside is at the moment the most anticipated indie game for the coming year. Now this is an open world game, RPG, but with an insane amount of creativity out of any developers I've seen for a while. Now here today, once again with another trailer after about 5 or 6 months since the last update, and now also release date of mid to early 2022, and into both gen consoles, PCs, and of course, the Nintendo Switch.
Has to survive, often being exposed to the harsh side of Mother Nature. A desert environment is one such place. Finding safe places to camp and cooking up food is all part of the journey. This time, a sub-zero climate, and worse, caught in a snow blizzard. Struggling to pull his companion out of the snow. What will be their fate? Lead Billy throughout his journey, and imagine what he has to face. Some expected, more often not.
You can play as the vile Kandarian demon itself. But who would want to do that? He'd be a dick.
Evil Dead, the game, releases February next year. We just got a heads up on that one, and with a single-player campaign now, what folks at the team actually describe, and I quote, the ultimate Evil Dead experience you're all waiting for. Anyway, Saber Interactive, to accompany the news, also came up with a new trailer, said the game will offer co-op online multiplayer just as promised, and about to hit all consoles and the Nintendo Switch February next year. Check this out.
Use a spell to send the Kandarian son of a bitch back to the hellhole it came from. Soon you'll experience the horror yourself, but for now I'll leave you with this thought. It was no accident that Ash always wore brown pants.
Kirby's also back, not to mention, at the same Nintendo showcase from earlier, and for the god knows how many of time. Now, it is a platformer now, and since it's a Nintendo game, heavily inspired by a Mario game. I ain't gonna say it. It'll be an open world game, arguably the most welcome surprise from that Nintendo Direct in my opinion. Check this out. Kirby and the Forgotten Land is a Nintendo Switch exclusive with a specific release date to be announced, and at the moment, mid-2022.
Where did you come from? What brings you to our peculiar little slice of the frontier?
So, Rune Factory 5 now also has a release date of March 22nd. That is only just a few days prior to its initial March 25 original release. Anyway, available to pre-order also. There's even this $80 edition going by some Earthmade with a bunch of collectibles, if that's your thing. But just in case you're actually wondering what's going on here, Rune Factory 5 is a farming sim, kind of though, but actually an RPG that's actually been in development for a good few years. And this is how it looks like.
Glad that we see each other as equals. Yes.
Our stars, and she lay in rest.
Now, Marvel's Midnight Suns with a U by Firaxis Games is now actually targeting all consoles and the Nintendo Switch as of now, not to mention PCs, and also coming out March next year. Now, what this new Marvel's game is actually a tactical RPG, set in the Marvel's universe, of course, featuring all the Avengers and more, and a turn-based gameplay. Also, there's a lot of exploration to boot, so just check this out.
Now
On the other hand, if you've been waiting to get your hands on a Pokemon Arceus pre-order ahead of its release, there's actually right now a few editions you can choose from. Now, the game itself is also coming out January 28th, in case you're new to, in the form of an open world RPG adventure, to which we also got our first look at gameplay too. Here's how it looks like. Check out Project Buramoto or something, an action-adventure platformer basically. Now, Project Buramoto was actually announced only a couple of months ago by an Indonesian developer, where they actually said this game's based on traditional Bornean folktales. Now check this out, this game's targeting consoles and PCs, and the Switch as well of course, and due out late 2022.
Stop it.
I don't know. But he's my brother. And I would die for him.
Plague Tale, in a sense, which is the second chapter in its adventure survival horror games, is now to hit consoles and PCs and also the Nintendo Switch via the cloud service, of course. It's definitely one of the good-looking games of 2022, with improvements upon its original formula, by the way, and into a new environment across the seas and a more story-focused game as well. Check this out. Moving on to third-person shooters. Splatoon 3, Nintendo went on and announced we'll be getting a new trailer in the coming week. Well, nothing big, just some more gameplay details, probably a specific release date as well. What we do know is that this game is supposedly coming out mid next year, but it could actually go up to late. If you like competitive games and well, you're new, this is definitely one to keep an eye out for. So check it out. It has been a while, but Slug franchise is also making a comeback, in a huge way also for strategy fans though, tactics. Now this is, just in case you're new, one of the biggest run-and-gun games of the past couple of decades. And what's crazy about this specific entry is that it's being created by Dotemu, which is the same folks who's been bringing a lot of games back to life, such as Streets of Rage 4 from earlier. Check it out, Metal Slug Tactics is coming out into consoles and PCs sometime next year.
and twisted mind of one of the most iconic characters of all time. All of that in our very own artistic style.
Lord of the Rings Gollum also has a release window of late 2022 now. We know this one's coming to all consoles, surprisingly to Nintendo Switch as well, probably via the cloud service. Lord of the Rings Gollum, which was announced almost 3 years ago, is basically an open world, stealthy action-adventure as described by its developers. In case you've missed, this is how it looks like.
Gameplay, and really leverages Daedelic's expertise in crafting engaging stories. Gollum is no traditional hero. He's learned not to take any sides other than his own, and some of the most powerful beings in Middle-earth want him either captive or dead. In the game, you will meet some iconic characters, but also interesting personalities less known to players, but nonetheless essential to the events unfolding. We've been highly faithful to the descriptions in the books, depicting, for instance, the Moth of Sauron, the Lieutenant of Barad-dûr, who is constantly scheming on behalf of his Dark Lord. In the game,
now, my time at Sandrock, which was supposed to be released in just a few months from now, will postpone to mid to late next year. Sandrock basically serve as a follow-up to the RPG game My Time at Portia, which is a game heavily inspired by the likes of Harvest Moon. It's a farming game, and well, check it out. This game is coming to all consoles, PCs, and also the Nintendo Switch. Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires now releases February 15th, and into the PlayStation and Xbox consoles, PCs, and of course the Nintendo Switch. What it is, Empires is actually a spin-off of Dynasty Warriors 9 from a few years back, and if you're new to, is a 1v but a couple thousand of others hack and slasher. Best game ever. Check this out. To accompany the news, he also came up with a new one.
Since the Saltire War ravaged the land of Norzelia.
Last but not least, Nintendo will just release another trailer for Triangle Strategy, the most anticipated tactical RPG on the gaming scene, which happens to be a Nintendo Switch exclusive as well, by the team behind Octopath Traveler. It's a crazy good game. Check it out, especially if you missed out on the demo from earlier this year. The game also releases March 4 next year.
Though the betrothal is meant to be a symbol of peace, Norzelia once again finds itself embroiled in war. Roland, Prince of Glenbrook, and the loyal strategist Benedict. Their fierce convictions will shape the battles that lie ahead. Pixel and 3D graphics meet in HD 2D. A robust visual style designed to bring this epic chronicle of war to life. Characters engage with a host of unique personalities.
Out of my way!
Arms Master Erador Ballantyne. Supper Spy Anna Pascal.
Try this!
Kingsguard Huette Bucklar.
Victory is inevitable.
Tutor Gila Brace. Battle. Confront the enemy in complex strategic battles. Utilize the terrain and your allies' abilities to claim victory.
Now!
System. Immerse yourself in a deep, branching story.
Bring the scales.
Your choices and actions determine your conviction and affect the fate of you and your allies. Where will your convictions lead you?
Flames consume you!
A tactical RPG that will challenge your conviction.
There can only be one way forward.